Okay, Heather, so we're recording now. So thank you for volunteering.
That's
So
okay.
we're just going to go through a coaching session. I'm going to share this so people can use this for their training purposes, or if people are thinking about becoming a coach and they're not sure what it involves. Hopefully, with our session, we can demonstrate what a coaching session might look like. Typically, you'd want to take a client through a series of sessions. So that might look like 3, 6, 9 sessions, depending on what it is they want to work on. So for emotional stuff, it's obviously going to be a longer. If it's for goal setting, goal achievement, it might be shorter. So let's just see where we go today. So obviously you're a coach anyway, training with the Soul Awakening Academy. And as part of that, you get coached by other students and you do a lot of coaching, but it's always good for you guys to see what a coaching session might look like. So let's just see where it goes.
Okay.
So what would normally happen is I would have spoken to you on the phone. I would have maybe sent you one of our assessment forms to fill in, just to see what areas of life are working really well and what areas you feel you'd like to work on through coaching to improve and better a particular area of your life. But because we haven't done that, I'll just ask you, what is it you'd like to bring to the coaching session today?
For me, I think at the moment it's a fear of, kind of being seen, like my real me being seen. And kind of, yeah, that's probably the main thing because I could go off and I could kind of go, yeah, and like focus because I can't focus very well, but maybe the kind of the confidence and just the fear of who I am and the real me being seen.
Okay, so we'll go more into that. So we've got, say, 45 minutes together today. How would you like to feel at the end of the session that would really make a difference in your life?
That I'm not frightened to kind of say what I would like to say, and be seen. I guess kind of just have the courage to and I don't mean sort of saying horrible thing or anything like that, but just to kind of be me and the real me, my spiritual side kind of coming out and just people kind of knowing who I really am and not being frightened of that. So kind of just having that confidence at the end and not having the fear of all of that.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you saying, just to reflect back to you, because what I might hear is not what you are trying to communicate with me. So just for clarity, so we know exactly where we're focusing the session, what I've heard you say is that at the moment you have a fear of being seen, a fear of showing the real you.
Yeah.
And there's fear around it, which we'll figure that out. And as a result of working through that, you no longer want to be frightened to say what it is that you want to say. And you want to have the courage to be seen for who you feel you really are spiritually. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
And when you hear back in your own words what it is that's living inside you at the minute, what does that do for you? What does that bring up for you?
I can't actually believe I feel like that. I mean, it's kind of like saying the words out loud. They're kind of words that seem to stay within my head and within my body. So to actually kind of say them words and then to hear them back, it's just like, oh my gosh, I've actually even said that. So that's like even a first kind of forward step to kind of saying even that I want to be heard.
Okay, so is this the first time you've actually verbalized how you feel inside about that?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't really. I mean, obviously, I know, obviously, being a coach, I have done some of that work, but I guess it's not something I really talk about out loud and say the words like I want to be heard. Yeah,
How does it feel then?
actually quite empowering just even to say I want to be heard. I feel like I actually just want to shout that and kind of like, I want to be heard.
Why What? Go on, shout it now. I want to be heard.
I want to be heard. Yeah.
Or how about reframing that? How could you reframe that instead of I want to be? What would be even more empowering than that?
I am heard. I am heard. You know, people can hear me. So yeah, because I guess kind of just saying I want to be heard is still kind of like holding that in a little bit, like kind of like I want to be heard, but I'm actually still too frightened to move forward. So kind of like I am heard makes me feel like yes, people can hear me.
Well, I can hear you. I'm listening to you. How
Excellent.
does it feel to have me listen to you and understand you and see you and hear you?
It actually feels really nice to, you know, sort of have someone and talk to someone. And I think for me it's all very spiritual. You know, for me personally, it's kind of I've always um, been different to, you
Let
know,
me
other
just
people.
ask you one thing about
Yeah.
that. We are sitting here. This is the first time you've verbalized your inner feelings out loud to me, and you know this is going out to the wider audience. And I hear you. We're both honoring each other's presence and space. And I'm saying, I see you, and I feel you, and I hear you, and I'm listening to you, and I understand you. What's happened to the fear?
It's not there. It's
Um,
kind of it. Well, actually, it's still there a bit because it's like actually, yeah, it's kind of like rabbit in headlights moment. To be fair, because it's a bit like, oh my gosh, I can say what I want to say and someone's listening. So now there's a different fear of like, oh, what do I say? How do I
what
let that
about,
out?
what about confidence? How does that feel?
And that still feels a bit kind of shut away, kind of like, oh my gosh, someone's listening, but now I don't actually have the confidence to kind of find it within to want to say what I want to say. So,
Well, let me give you that space to say what you want to say.
okay, digging deep.
Deep. Let's dig in deep. Let's
Oh,
just go back a minute. So we've clarified what you want to work towards in the session. We've already started to make progress into that. And what we've done is we've fact found. We've figured out the facts. And the facts are this is the first time that you've verbalized, and allowed yourself permission to speak out loud and say how you feel. I want to be heard. And you're saying that feels good. And in that moment, having this session and you actually owning your inner feelings and your space and taking your space, then the fear's still there, but it's not overveiling everything. The confidence still feels there, but you're working with it and you're allowing yourself to open up, and you've even given yourself more permission to go there. So you're allowing yourself to go to the depths that you want to go to, even though it still feels a bit scary and it still feels a bit frightening for you. You're still allowing yourself to go there. Is that right?
yeah, yeah,
Okay. So you've said quite a few times about the real me. So just allow yourself. And if you want to get yourself into a little type of, they call it conscious streaming, conscious communication, where you kind of open up your conscious awareness just to stream through whatever wants to be spoken. So it's not filtering your words, it's not second guessing or thinking, it's just allowing. So, are you prepared to be in a space of allowing
yes,
and observing? Because you will be observing yourself. You won't particularly be consciously in control of what you're saying. You just allow this stream of consciousness to come through you. So, if you're prepared to do that, let's try and get into that space now. So, as you know, it's just taking some nice breaths in. So the breath really calms the system down. It helps to calm down the nervous system. So using our breath just to really use that vagus nerve, which speaks to all the organs in our body. And instead of all our organs tightening and constricting because we're in this adrenaline state, it just soothes everything down in the system. And just imagine expanding your heart chakra. So your heart chakra opens. Just imagine your whole body just becoming more expansive, really owning the space where you are. And feeling your feet on the floor, just feeling grounded and supported by the earth. And you can imagine opening your crown chakra, which is at the top of your head, which is your conscious connection to your higher self and beyond. And if it helps, you can imagine a white light flooding through your crown chakra, flooding through your third eye, flooding through your throat chakra, to allow yourself to have clear communication, to become a clear conscious channel. And just allow whatever words that are already within you, or possibly some new words that you weren't expecting, just to flow through you as I ask you the question. And the question is, who are you really? What is it that you want people to see? What do you want to reveal about yourself that you're not currently revealing?
My fun side.
Yeah.
I used to always be fun and make people laugh.
Mm.
But I also think that was kind of a facade as well to cover up pain.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it is fun. I am fun.
Mm.
And I think I tried to be too serious with so many things. And actually, I just want people to see my fun side, my loving side, my jokey side.
Mm.
Sometimes I feel like maybe if I'm like that, people won't take me seriously.
Okay. How do you want people to take you? What's really important to you?
I just want people to see me and actually not feel bothered whether they like me or not. You know, you're not everyone's cup of tea, and that's fine. I just want people to just see me, and if they see me, that's fine. If they see me and feel me, then great. But if they don't, then that's fine for me too. I don't need to be bothered. But I have this constant feeling that I have to make sure that everybody likes me. So I'll probably change who I am
Mm-hmm.
to fit in with who I'm with.
Okay. So let me ask you another question. How do you need to change how you see other people?
I just need to see them for who they are
Mm.
so that I guess I mirror that back and can see me.
So, what might you be seeing other people as?
Probably myself,
And what's
all
that?
the different parts of myself that maybe I want to see. You know, so if someone's fun and loved, I think, oh, that's it, that's what I want to be. Even though I know that is who I am and that's what I am, but I guess every time I see somebody or see someone doing something, I want to be as good as that person, be that person. and I kind of just forget who I am.
So, what is it you're projecting onto other people then?
Probably my fear of being seen.
Fear of being seen. Okay.
Being real, being truthful.
Do you allow other people to be themselves?
Yes, always. And I always tell everyone to be yourself. Yeah.
Okay. And this part of you that fears being seen, what's the underlying belief around you being seen? What's the underlying belief that supports the fear of being seen?
Judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely judgment, not understanding. Maybe, unloved, people might then kind of move away and be like, oh, no, can't love you.
Mm-hmm. And what else?
I don't know.
Anything deeper than you can't be loved?
I don't know. I think I'm struggling to get deeper.
Okay.
I feel like there's a block or something there, but it's definitely an unlovable thing. It's definitely judgment.
So just observe yourself in the moment where you have an inner script running which says that you can't be loved. Just imagine a scenario. Maybe you make the scenario up just for the sake of now, but or something that has actually happened where you can see your inner script. I can't be loved playing out. I just want to notice how you project that onto other people to reaffirm the belief that you can't be the real you.
Can you say that again?
Yeah, just bring into your mind's eye, use your
Yep.
imagination. It could be an event that's happened in the past recently, or it could just be you ask your mind just to show you how this plays out. But I want you to see yourself in a situation with other people and you're projecting onto them your belief and inner script that I can't be loved by others. And I want you to see the effect that that has on other people and you. What happens as a result of you pushing your belief, I can't be loved by others, onto them? What happens?
I feel nothing. I feel nothing from them, which then makes me really believe that I'm not loved
Mm-hmm.
because I just feel nothing, nothing back.
Mm-hmm. And what do they do in response?
Pull away, move away.
And just observe your behavior when you're doing this. What do you do?
In a very strange way, I start actually trying to kind of fight with that and realizing that I've pushed them away or I've said something and feeling. So then I try clawing that back and
Mm-hmm.
probably going over the top to try and make them, no, actually, I am, it's okay. And, I probably go completely a different way. I push away, then try and pull back in, and then push away and pull back.
So that push away is the first start of the trigger, the first start of the fear based belief I can't be loved, therefore I have to push you away. So
Yeah,
that's part of the whole cycle. So when you start to notice that you are entering into push zone, what can be the possible trigger? What's leading up to that?
because I think I've just put all these thoughts in my head before I've even started. Of they're not going to like me. They're not going to, they're going to laugh at me. They're not going to like me, so they're not going to love who I am. So, I'll just push it away, because then if I don't have to let it in, I
Mm,
won't have to cope with all the fears of
mm,
the not liking me, not loving me, judging me.
mhm. I get it. Totally get it. So let me ask you that question again. When you feel there's a potential to be the real you and to be seen by others, you have a cascade of thoughts and judgments and inner fears and doubts. People won't like me, they'll judge me, they'll push me away, they'll reject me. Therefore, I can't be vulnerable. When those thoughts start entering your head, how much are you allowing? How much are you really seeing those other people for the real them?
I'm not. I think I'm clouding everything that I see, and I'm probably not really see. It takes a while before I see someone for who they really are.
Yes.
And I think that's part of the problem as well, because I let so much in. Again, that's probably because I push away, but then I let it in as well. And because I'm so confused about all the feelings, it then does take me a while to really see someone for who they are. And then potentially by that point, I could have been hurt again, because I've let in someone, or let in a
Mhm.
part of someone that is no good for me.
And is it also true that you may hurt them in the process with the push pulling
Yeah,
and not allowing them to be the real them,
yeah,
not seeing them for who they are?
yeah. And hurting them as well for
Mhm.
pushing them away, and then trying to get, actually come back, love me, then actually don't love me, because I'll just hurt you and you'll hurt me. And then actually come back, I love you, you love me. And then I'm on a complete same thing, elastic band.
Mhm. So that's a very good insight. So hold on to that. How does it feel to have that?
That thought,
Mm,
pretty horrible actually.
mm,
I do that to myself, and I do that to someone else.
okay. And this is the thing you want to let go of, right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So I'll ask you another question again. Okay. So we've recognized that there's a pattern of behavior. Okay. And that's not the real you. So let's push that pattern of behavior to the side. Just imagine pushing it out to the left or the right of you, whatever feels good. Just push it away for now. It can stand at the side. Now, feeling free from all that cycle of behavior, because we have many cycles of behavior. It's just the one we, maybe the most dominant one or the one we choose to focus on in certain situations, but it's just one. We have many. So, removing that, just pushing it to the side so it doesn't feel like it's overshadowing you all the time. Imagine going into a scenario where you know that there's a potential for this to play out. And just see yourself in that scenario, in that scene, without this cycle of behavior. Instead, you have a new cycle of behavior. And that cycle of behavior is to allow yourself to be the real you, which in turn allows the other person to be the real them. We won't think about the consequence of the relationship or where that might lead. All we're going to see, it could be somebody you meet at the bus stop, or I don't know, a new friend comes into your life momentarily. And just for that time that you're together, there's no judgments, there's no second guessing, there's no internalization. What about me? It's just, I see them and I allow them to see me. Just tell me what you see in your mind's eye and how that feels.
Straight away, I just see me looking at that person thinking, oh my gosh, you've got really lovely eyes, or like, or you're really funny, or oh my God, I love your bag. I'm loving what you're wearing. Just, and kind of feeling that back at me, feeling as if, it doesn't really matter whether, I've got my tracky bottoms on or whatever, you're just seeing me as I am, and maybe cracking a joke,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of looking at that person and seeing who they are.
Let's just say you both were there, both in your tracky bottoms, both not brushed your hair, not brushed your teeth, didn't have a scrap of makeup on. What would you want that person to really see in you?
Just who I am. That, it doesn't matter whether I haven't brushed my hair or got my tracky bottoms on. I'm still a caring, loving, non-judgmental person that just wants this person in front of me to be happy.
Okay, and any other qualities that just shine through no matter what you look like or what you're wearing?
Love,
Yeah.
lots of love.
Mm.
Yeah, just a whole embodiment of love.
Mm. Anything else?
Truth, just kind of speaking softly the truth, just truths.
Mm.
I don't even know what that means, but
And what about your vulnerability? How would that look in this situation?
actually okay, because we're both vulnerable, as in we're both just being us.
Mm.
So there is no need to feel vulnerable because we're both just being who we are.
Mm. So tell me what might be good about vulnerability in this situation. What can vulnerability add to a relationship?
Caring,
Mm-hmm.
open,
Mm-hmm.
honest,
Mm-hmm.
just being yourself.
Being yourself.
Yeah,
Isn't that one of the things that you really want to do?
yeah,
So do you accept that part of that is to be vulnerable?
yeah,
And vulnerability looks like caring, it looks like openness.
yeah,
And dare I say it, vulnerability between two people might even strengthen and bond the relationship to have an even deeper connection.
yeah,
Can you see how that's possible?
yeah.
The way you currently view a vulnerability, does it look like that?
No, no. I see vulnerability as giving away your power, giving away your strength, giving away everything with nothing coming back, kind of just being vulnerable rather than seeing it
Mm.
the other way.
So just let me ask you one last question before you open your eyes. Whose eyes are you seeing vulnerability through when you talk of it in that way?
probably my past
Mm-hmm.
rather than now.
Yeah. How
So,
old? How old would you be?
oh, definitely a child,
Mm-hmm.
definitely a younger child.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I realise now that it's not my adult version of myself that I see that through. Every time I see that, it's definitely my child self.
Okay. Would that be a helpful reminder?
It actually would. I'd never really thought about it until this moment, that that's how I see it.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
let's get clear so you become even more super aware of when you're seeing people through the child, the hurt child's vulnerable eyes, which obviously we can work on in other sessions, but just to help you in your future relationships and any situation going forward. When you see the world through fear based vulnerability as the child whose needs weren't taken care of, who felt hurt and couldn't express herself, how does that how does that feel in your body? How do you know that that little girl is active in you?
Because everything becomes the past, everything, the thoughts, the
Mm,
beliefs, everything that I believe, that I've really worked towards now seems to disappear
mhm,
when I know she's active, because I just go back to being very, you know,
mm.
closed in.
Exactly. Closed in is a great word. When you feel yourself closing in and closing down,
Yeah.
and as you said before, that thought cycle, but before your action comes in, which is the push, I'm going to push you away. My child's active. She's feeling vulnerable. She creates these thoughts, and I behave by pushing people away, which keeps this pattern in place. Okay, so you've identified that. Now identify what it feels like and looks like when you are doing vulnerability through a mature adult's eyes who can take care of herself, who separates facts from fiction.
It's actually lovely. It's really giving and warm,
Mm,
kind of arms open and allowing that vulnerability.
mm,
Yeah. And as you said, definitely the strength, hadn't thought about it like that, but
mm.
it has, it does strengthen things. And I do feel that, when you are being vulnerable and allowing it in my adult life rather than my child life.
Does that feel you are being more and showing more of the true self that's longing to be seen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Heather, just take a nice deep breath. Just open your eyes when you're ready.
They're glued together. Oh,
Well done. So, just share some feedback on that. What insights have you had from that you can use going forward?
I had never associated my vulnerability with my inner child coming through. Um, Never really done that until this point. So actually, I feel like I can kind of now, when I'm in that position, rather than immediately kind of pushing it away, I can maybe kind of just in my mind say to her, my inner child, it's okay, you know, you're fine, it's fine, this is all good, and you can do this, and then kind of just try and become more the adult version of myself and not let the child version of myself.
It sounds just, with everything that I've heard you say, it's the cycle of the thoughts and then your behavior, which causes people to react, which reinforces the thoughts and the belief, is the thing that's stopping you from being the real you and being seen.
Yeah.
So it's great that you can come up with soothing words to calm the inner child when she's active through vulnerability. And just being aware of that is so powerful, because when you know it's kicking in or has the potential to kick in, you can come in with your adult self and you can talk to the inner child and say, it's okay, I've got this, don't worry, we're okay. It's
Yeah.
okay, I can take care of this, I can handle this. And then drop into the space of vulnerability. And now you know the difference between being closed, thoughts, judging, da, 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 to being open, being the real you, feeling in a space of communication with somebody where it's caring, it's non-judgmental,
Mm.
it's both people being both just two people being two people. You actually allow the other person to truly be themselves, because you're there too. You're not here going, oh, I want them to, because everything you said in the beginning, what you want, you have to give to other people.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that? Because it's quite a big revelation to have.
Yeah. It was really funny as well because during the session, while we started talking about it, my left side was just so tense. And then the more and more we talked through it, the less and less that tense feeling became on my left side as well, which was really, I felt like I was kind of releasing some stuff there. Um, it, it feels quite something so simple. I just hadn't put the two together of just this whole elastic band effect that I was having with it, pretty much just with my inner child. That I just realised that whole elastic band effect had nothing to do with the other person I'm looking at. That was literally like me, my inner child, me, my inner child. Just whereas now I kind of feel like I can kind of flick that elastic band off and make it, or kind of just actually be more in control of the vulnerability.
You can work with it. You can work with it and keep working with it, because that's the first step, is identifying it and then working with it. And it doesn't happen overnight, but now you can't undo what you know. So now you have the power to decide to keep on working with that, to eventually you don't work on it anymore. It just is. It just
Yeah.
is, um so just going back to your initial, what you wanted as an outcome for the session, it was the fear of being seen, the fear of being the real me, the confidence to be the real me, not frightened to say what you really want to say, and to have the courage and the confidence to be you, to allow your fun side to come through, your laughter, to not be too serious, to have caring, loving, non-judgmental relationships, to have a truthful relationship where it's open. How do you feel in relation to being more in alignment with that now?
I feel like I will definitely be able to start to work on that more now because now I know where my vulnerability is and I know what's holding me back from all of them things. I kind of feel like I want to just have a little chat with myself later. Kind of like have a little chat with me and me and a child and be like, right, now you listen to me.
I was just gonna say, I think what I feel from this is important for us to do now. We're not going to go into anything heavy, but what you've got to remember is that little girl was very frightened and confused and didn't know any other way but to internalize every experience that happened to her and around her.
Yeah.
So she then saw the world as completely threatening, not able to trust anybody, and presumed it was all about her.
Yeah.
That's what kids do,
Yeah.
because they just do. We don't go, oh, well, he might have been having a bad day, or she might have been. No, it's all about our core being. So to heal yourself through that, there must be a place of sensitivity and empathy and compassion for the young child who was dealt that experience. So she needs reassurance from you. She needs to feel love. She needs to feel safe. You need to parent her in the way that you should have been parented throughout your childhood.
Yeah.
So you now need to become the responsible adult and the nurturer and the carer and the provider of all her emotional needs. But remember, she's a child and she's immature. And when a child who is, immature, they need an adult to come in and talk to them and advise them and show them the right way. What do you think would be a great affirmation or saying, or just something that you can use from now on in?
Without it being probably too, but maybe I am loved. I I am cared for. Kind of like I am loved. I am cared for.
How about I love you,
Okay.
I love you, and I care for you, and I've got you.
Yeah, I like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I care. Yeah, okay. So I'm talking to my inner child. Yeah, that makes more sense.
And to share something that's worked for me is when I've been, feeling very out of sorts and vulnerable and open and uncomfortable with it. Like I literally, it's so comforting to hold yourself in that way, and with intention that you're holding yourself, you're holding the inner child,
Yeah.
and you're saying, "I've got you. I love you. You've always been loved."
Yeah. I must admit, I've kind of, hugged a pillow or a blanket before and stuff. But yeah, maybe actually hugging myself and saying it at that moment. Yeah.
It feels right. I mean, you can
Yeah.
even go so far as get an old picture where you weren't in, things are tough,
Yeah.
and start to really connect with that picture. And every day and every night, you can be sending love to that child. Anything that's symbolic of you healing that inner child.
That's actually a really good shout because I can't really look at old pictures of myself. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that. And yeah, I've,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's just another thing that has helped me is I've done that process with the picture, and I've really had floods of how that's developed into self-loathing and self-harming and destructive behavior. And I've seen all that, and I've had to bring it back again, because our behavior, as you can now see, pushing people away, is a result of our thoughts, and we form those thoughts based on a belief from an experience. He said that, therefore I am. So
Yeah.
it's like going back to that. Okay, you felt that way because you could even say you felt that way because you knew no better,
Yeah.
and maybe those around you knew no better, something. But just to really connect to a picture, and like I say, give back. Now you have to now reparent yourself. You have to give her that aspect of you, the love that it needs, and you know what that is and what that looks like.
Mm. Yeah. Feel quite empowered. That's a great word, that word. But I definitely feel kind of like I'm going to give her some strength and some power back, that she never had. So as a grown adult now, I can do that. So, yeah.
What do you think what will you action now as a result of today's session?
So I am definitely going to do my affirmation, but I'm definitely going to have a talk to myself. that is definitely something I want to do. I can feel it, and it feels like the right thing. And I want to have a little bit of a laugh with her as well, because I want to kind of let her know, it's okay to, it's actually okay to have had that, and to laugh, not to feel guilty for laughing. So I definitely want to do that. And then I know that I'm definitely going to walk away with knowing the difference between my inner child and myself as a grown adult.
Mm-hmm.
So I really feel like I can now see that. I couldn't see that before, whereas I absolutely feel like my eyes have just been, oh my gosh, I can see that now.
It will change your relationships, and it will change your relationships with your partner. It will, just because now you can have a different communication style. So I'd really love to know how you get on with that, and obviously I'm here to support you, and anything comes up, just we'll be
Yeah,
talking about it anyway going forward.
yeah. I do just want to say though, I do actually feel from when we started to where I am now, I actually feel really happy.
You seem a lot more
I know, I'm just really
you
happy
do,
now.
you seem so radiant.
I was just like, oh my gosh, I just want to be
You're
happy.
free. You seem free, you seem lighter, you
Yeah,
seem bubbly, you seem radiant.
I do, and I don't feel guilty for feeling like I can show people like, yes, I went through a traumatic experience, but actually I can be. I think you get into this bubble where you feel like I've had a traumatic experience. I need to be depressed. I need to be anxious. The world needs to see me.
Let me just ask you to refrain that. This is really important. That this is really important. When you said we, and you generalized, when we have this traumatic experience, we go into this bubble, just refrain that and say, when I, or because I had this traumatic experience, I've told myself I need to be. Just take ownership of that generalized
Yeah, that's
statement.
true.
It's more empowering.
Yeah. So when I went through the traumatic experience, I believed the world needed to see me as a depressed person, an anxious person, a traumatized person, someone that couldn't function properly. And that's how I felt the world needed to see me, because if they didn't, they wouldn't believe everything that I'd gone through. So it was like, I have to be sad, because if I'm happy, people are going to go, well, clearly you never went through anything really bad because you're happy. So I went through this whole lull of life just not being happy, because that is what I thought everyone needed to see to believe that I went through something so traumatic. So that's actually been just like a massive one bit there. It's just been the biggest, like, oh my God, I can't believe it, that I think I've ever gone through. All years of therapy, that's just come out. I'm like, oh my gosh, unbelievable, yeah. And you are so just saying, I went through that. Because I've always said, oh, and when anyone, when you go through, or I've never kind of reworded it to say, do you know what, world, I went through that. But do you know what? It's okay to smile and laugh and be happy. Just because I went through that doesn't mean that I can't be happy.
That sounds like the real you to me.
Oh, no, that's me. Hi, everyone. This is me. That's the real me coming out. Gosh, wow. Wow. And I'm like, just like really smiling. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't actually believe it.
All
Wow.
right, so let's go back to the beginning. And now I want to hear you shout, I am heard.
I am heard 100%.
And what about from here on in? I will be heard, and
Oh,
I will speak my truth.
I will be heard, and I will speak my truth, and it will be my truth, and not through the eyes of we, you, someone else, I will speak my truth. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm so.
That's amazing.
I'm really moved by you today. I'm so happy for you.
Oh, thank
So
you.
happy for
Honestly,
you.
I can't. Yeah, that was. I'm blown away. I am actually blown away. Yeah. Bit emotional. You know me. I do get quite emotional, but yeah.
Yeah, me too. I'm just really, really happy for you that you've had that realization and it's come from you. You know,
Yeah.
you just have taken control of, I've obviously facilitated, but it's just helped you go, there's another way. There's
Yeah.
another way. This way that you've identified is so in alignment to the real you because you've now snapped out of that. Oh, I've been thinking it has to be this way. I've been telling myself it needs to be this way. You've just turned the switch on and gone, oh my God, it doesn't need to be that way. And the way it can be is the way I want it to be,
Yeah.
which is fun, laughter, showing the real you, all of those things.
Yeah. It honestly, I had never really had coaching before, obviously, and then I started the course, and it's really different. Like you don't really realise how, I've had lots of counselling before and stuff as well, but sometimes going back to me, but when you're kind of encounter the difference between those, because I don't want to live in that past, in that bubble, and the difference between that and the coaching is you're having you are having these aha moments where you haven't got to relive the full trauma or anything like that. You're getting past that point, and that to me, just having that session, but honestly, I'm 45 or 46 now, 46. Oh my gosh. And I just feel like that's been one of the biggest breakthroughs I think I've ever had
That's
in
amazing.
in that. Honestly, yeah, I've got like goosebumps and everything.
So
Just
cool.
amazing.
That's what coaching is about. Coaching is helping the client see where their current thinking is stuck or limited because we all have it. I've got my own limited patterns and things like that, and we can be unconscious. But when we talk it through with somebody, and it's like, well, I want to be this, but I'm this. So it's like, okay, why? Let's go deeper. And then you'll realize that the client has a very limited she got the blinkers on. A client's got the blinkers on.
Yeah,
It's this way, seeing it this way all my life, that's the way it is. And when you shine a light as a coach and ask the right questions, curious questions, well, what would it be if it looked different? You open up the client's awareness to what is possible, because let's face it, anything is possible for us. We can think anything we like. We're
yeah,
just choosing to fixate on this one trodden path because it's what we started out with, and then we've done it for so long. It's just an automatic way of thinking. But when you help a client shift and go, actually, you don't need to think that way. You could just change it so it goes over here, and that thinking like that's actually going to help you get to where you want to be. Do you want to try that? And you don't normally have to, obviously you wouldn't say it like that, but the client does
yeah,
that own awakening
yeah.
themselves
And
to.
it really is empowering, isn't it? Because and as you said, just changing them words from we have had this trauma, to you saying to me, say I was like, try to put that word I into my mouth was a really huge, but you don't realize, I had never really realized that to say I that means I'm owning that. I'm owning what happened to me, but it's okay to move on. I am owning what, and you just think like, wow. So
You hear yourself saying it. I am thinking that way. I am actually telling myself this, and it's causing me to be this. And and then you can go, no, I don't need to do that anymore.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And that's, that for me just felt transformational. That was, just to say that I just one word, one simple word to change it from we or you to I
Mhm.
just made me see. everything so differently then. Amazing, honestly. Oh.
Well, I am really pleased. Well done.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for the session.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. And I'll yeah, thank you. I'll hook up with you soon.
Okay. All right
Take care,
then.
my love. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.